Welcome to Super Entrepreneurs Podcast. Today we have with us Christina Lecuyer. How are you, Christina?
I'm good. How are you?
I know we were trying to practice the last name, right?
It's a tough one for sure.
No, it's great. It's great. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Of course. Happy to do so.
That's great. You know what? I always like to kind of allow the guests to introduce themselves in their own words, what all amazing stuff that you're involved with, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Christina Lecuyer. I go by B Christina on social media, BeChristina, because I encourage every person to just be themselves, who they were created to be. I'm a confidence and success coach. I'm a former professional golfer. I played professional golf, college golf, all the things before transitioning into helping people truly live a life of purpose and passion and make a profit doing it.
That's awesome. So golf, eh?
Yeah.
How did you get into that?
Are you Canadian, by the way?
Yes, that's why I said A.
Oh, I was about to say, so I'm originally from Canada. I was like, wow, I picked up on that.
Oh, really? Where from?
I am. I'm originally from Edmonton, Alberta.
Oh, wow. So I'm in Whitby, Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I grew up there. I lived there until I was 21. I moved down to Arkansas in 2002 to play college golf, and
Wow.
been here ever since. I cannot believe it's going to be 19 years. I don't feel
That's
that
amazing.
old, but apparently I am if you do the math.
No, well, you know what? That's no worries. Age is just a number. So
Yeah.
so I kind of got the story now. So that's how you got into golf.
Yeah, I grew up in Edmonton. My dad and my uncles all played professional hockey, and then from there they played golf. And my dad was in the golf industry while I was a young kid. Both of my brothers started playing while they were basically in diapers, but I actually didn't pick up the sport until I was about 18 years old. I got really good really fast, and then I went to college, like I said, at 21 to play college golf.
Amazing. How was that?
It was a wonderful experience. The first year was definitely hard. Let me tell you, there's a big difference between Edmonton and Arkansas. A very big difference. My first year, I really didn't like it, to be honest with you. But, like I said, I've been down here 19 years now, and I wouldn't live anywhere else. I'm an American citizen now. I'm super blessed. I love it. I love it here. My blood is extremely thin. There's no way I could make it through a Canadian winter, let alone a Canadian weekend. So it's all good.
That's awesome. But you still have family here, right?
I do. Both of my brothers live in Canada. My parents part-time, and my grandparents are up there. So yeah, I definitely have Canadian family and friends up there, but I don't really spend a ton of time up there anymore.
But do they visit you?
They do. This past
awesome.
year has been a difficult season, but hopefully we'll get them down here a little bit more full-time.
That's awesome. That'll be great. And then, but do you still play golf or?
I play golf for fun. I call it my old man money games. I'm a member at I feel like every country club imaginable, but I'm very blessed. But I'm the greatest member ever. I pay my dues and I rarely show up. But I play now that it's springtime. So it's a beautiful week here. I don't know when this will air, but we're feeling the beginning of spring down here. It's about 70 degrees every day this week. So I'm going to try to get out. I try to play at least once a week. I obviously, when it was my career, when it was my job, when it was, how I was paying for school, I practiced all day, every day, it felt like. And so now I just, only play like about once a week, and I go try to take a couple $100 from the old guys at the country club, and it makes me super, super happy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So how did you get into speaking?
Yeah, really good story. So I kind of going back a little bit. So when I always talk about when I was 18 years old, two things happened to me. I got really good looking and I got really good at golf. And it's kind of funny. A lot of people would look at that and be like, oh, that's amazing. But for me, actually, it was a turning point in my life. I kind of was just, a normal person before that, didn't have much attention. And then all of a sudden, like I said, those two things happened to me when I was about 18, and it kind of put me on a bit of a downward spiral in the fact that I became addicted to the external validation. I became addicted to the atta girls. I became addicted to like, you're so pretty, you're so rich, you're so skinny, you're so this, you're so good, you're so all the things. And I just really felt like I needed to be skinnier, like more attractive, better at golf, get the next title, get the next thing. And it really was a difficult time for me. And I experienced an eating disorder. I really didn't like myself. And it was about a 10-year period until I was about 27, 28. I realized that the only really thing in the world that could change was me. The circumstances couldn't change. Certain things around me couldn't change, but I could change. And so I really dove into self-development about, I guess it would be 10 or 11 years now. And to try to change myself, to try to make myself happy, because externally I had everything that everyone could possibly imagine, but internally I was, a big hot mess. Am I allowed to cuss on this podcast, by the way?
Well,
probably not.
Nobody ever does, but if
no one ever does. Okay, no problem. You obviously didn't do your homework asking to be on the podcast. I don't know if I've ever recorded.
It's free though. It's free. You're free. There's no restrictions. So
I used to do television. I never once cussed on television. But for those of you who listen to my podcast, decide it's your turn. That is free reign. But no, I actually dove into self-development. I really, read every book, listened to every podcast, and I started hiring every coach. I went to therapy. I joined masterminds. I did all sorts of things. And slowly but surely, my life really started to change. People around me started to change. People started to notice that I was actually becoming a very happy, successful, confident human being, and wanted to know how I was able to do that. Thus, how my business was created, helping people step into their purpose confidently and successfully. And so that's really how the whole speaking really started. And that's how the coaching started, and the podcast, and all of the things that I've so fortunately been able to create.
Oh, so you just basically, from whatever experiences you've went through and whatever development you actually achieve, you're just sharing that with everyone else through coaching, speaking, and all the other business.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. I truly do believe that it's very rare. I've been in the industry for about 5 years now, and there has never been one time that people ask what certificate I have. They ask, can you get me from A to B? And as long as you can get a person from A to B, you absolutely have the ability to, coach someone through the circumstance.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever have a portion of your life where you were in the corporate world?
Absolutely. Yeah. So before I got into this part, I was hosting corporate and charity golf events. So basically what that meant was clients were hiring me. I called myself a human connection specialist. So basically I happened to be, I called it the trifecta as well. So I happened to be three things. I had a very good personality in being able to connect with people, and encouraging human connection, I think, is the number one most valuable, asset we could all possibly have. I think, nowadays with our phones and social media and everyone being online, I think the human connection aspect is not as up at the forefront, but I believe it'll have to come back, because at the human being's core, connection with other human beings is like the most important thing ever. So I basically was hired by clients and corporations and charities and all the things to connect with other human beings via the golf course. And I looked a certain way, which didn't hurt. And I was able to play golf pretty good. So that didn't hurt as well. But overall, those three aspects created a really good, successful business. I was doing good 6 figures on the golf course. People used to pay me 5 figures a day to come out and play golf with clients, and, sunshine, playing the best golf courses in the world, connecting with other humans wasn't a bad gig.
Yeah, it's a perfect combo, and especially nowadays, like, human connection is so important. It's just, especially being in a virtual world. And then that's probably part of your coaching as well, to get people more humanized.
Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, really what I help people do is step into their purpose confidently. A lot of people in this world don't believe that they are confident, don't believe that they are worthy. I think a lot of times it comes down to that as well. A lot of people don't believe that they're worthy to do something. They compare themselves to, Karen on the internet who's doing something, or, I have a lot of male clients as well, but you look at, almost like call it the big dick competition, right? Like, that guy's doing that thing, that guy's doing that thing. And It's like, who's got the bigger one? And I really believe that when a person knows that they are worthy, or a person is confident in themselves, you don't have to compare yourself, because you know that you know that you know. Like, I know that I know I'm really damn good at what I'm doing. And if I keep taking the actions and keep making the decisions, I'm going to be exactly where I need to be. And I really help people hone into that and step into that, because, you know, it's almost like blocking out the noise, right? You cannot be your best version if you're always trying to be someone else.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people are actually suffering from that too, right? Especially with the media. We're always trying to, in business as well, we're always saying, okay, that guy's in the same industry, same product. Look at this guy, like the way he walks, the way he's doing that, the way he's talking. I have to do the same. And then when they try it, it doesn't come off natural, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I was trying to be Oprah, if I was trying to be, you know, whomever it is that's most successful in the industry, whatever it is, I would be, you know, letting others down. I believe every single human is born with a purpose. And I also believe it's our responsibility. That's right. I believe it's your responsibility to live that fully. My job is to be me, to be Christina, hence my, you know, social name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the purpose is everything. So can you help us understand how you find someone's purpose? Because that, you know, the purpose, vision, goal, basically that overall view of a human being, that finding that purpose is sometimes difficult for people, right? So is there any kind of recommendations you have that how you help people find that purpose?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of look at it three ways. So what is something like, if you're thinking about, oh gosh, what is my purpose? What is my passion? Number one, what is the thing that you absolutely get fired up and excited about? You know, veins pop out of my neck. I act like a crazy person every time I get to do what I do. So like, that's number one. Like, what fires you up? Number two, like, what is it that you would do for free? Oftentimes people stop themselves from doing the thing that they absolutely need to be doing on this planet because they look so far down the road on how it will monetize that they stop themselves from doing the damn thing. You know, when I first started my coaching business, you know, 5 years ago, I had no idea how it was going to monetize. I just knew that I knew that I had to help other human beings go from where I was to where I am now. I didn't know how it was going to monetize. I didn't know that I would have 5 employees and, you know, have a $500,000 business and all the things that we're doing, and doing all of the amazing great between the podcast and the coaching, the speaking, and all of the things. I didn't know that back then. I just had to be willing to take one step after the other and watch how it monetized. And then the third thing that I would say is finding that, like, what injustice do you see in the world? Like, what is the thing that like literally pisses you off more than anything? And that usually has to do with your purpose, or what is that thing that you like really want to change? And for me, I absolutely hate when people are not confident enough to step into their purpose. Like, I never want another human being not to chase that goal, dream, ambition, business, whatever the hell it is, because they're not confident enough to do it. And I don't care if it's like, I use this example quite often, but like, if you have a passion for like baking cookies and you literally cry because you're so freaking excited that every single day you get to bake cookies, well, bake the damn cookies and don't worry if like it's going to turn into like, you know, the number one cookie company in the world, because you have to be willing to start. You don't have to know every step on what it's going to take to become the best.
And don't focus on the how, just do it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And if anyone is listening to this, working in a job, thinking about business, you have to listen to Christina here. She has some amazing, amazing points, you know, like, because there's so many people in the 9 to 5, they have so much stuff going on inside them, but they're just restricted by outside circumstances, holding themselves back, not following their purpose or their dreams, you know? So whatever you're saying is hitting home to those people, hopefully.
Yeah, I know it is. It, you know, it hits home to so many people, and don't look at it as it has to be all or nothing. You know, before my coaching practice, like became enough to be able to like actually sustain myself on it, I was still working the golf industry. It started off as like 95-5%, and then it went to like 70-30, and then it went to 60-40. And then there becomes a time, it's either like that time inside you, or it becomes like the time financially where you can go, okay, I have to let go of this piece in order to really make that next piece grow. But, you know, oftentimes too, it's like, guess what? Sometimes your job is not going to be your purpose, but guess what? We all have to pay our freaking bills, right? So I think it's the same thing. Like, you can do the job. You don't have to hate it, but you could also do the thing that sets your soul on fire, and it doesn't actually have to monetize. But if you absolutely love it, you are doing this world and other people and yourself the biggest disservice ever by not actually stepping into that.
That's a great point. I want to ask you, what has been your biggest failure in the last year, and why do you think that happened?
Oh gosh, just in the last year. I've had so many failures. I think failures is like the best thing ever.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. That's why I'm interested to know, like, in the last year, what was that one thing? Yeah.
Oh gosh, in the last year, which is so crazy. I feel like the last year has just been such a blessing during COVID. I think COVID has been like the greatest time ever. Totally. Like, and I've never felt bad about that for 1 second, because I believe if, you know, when someone's succeeding, and I want people to know this, like, just because other people are not thriving doesn't mean that you shouldn't, because it's just, it just shows people that there's an option to thrive. When a lot of people aren't. But over the last year, I think one of the things that I probably would have done differently is I would have doubled down even more. I think I doubled down in my business. I think I'll double down on my integrity. I think I doubled down on my output to serve really big, but I think I probably could have done it a little bit bigger by, you know, hiring faster and, you know, just for me, one of the things that I do now is the minute I think about it, I just implement it. I'm like, there's no wrong decision, right? There's no wrong decision. But I think I've learned that a little bit more over the last year, and perhaps like waiting, like we should have implemented something quicker, or we should have, you know, hired on a couple more team members in order to make it possible quicker. So that's probably something that I would have done differently over the last year. A personal decision that I probably would have changed is I would have probably gone to Canada quicker before the lockdowns happened, just to see my family a couple more times before it really got strict in Canada. That's probably something that I would have changed had I known how strict Canada was going to become.
Yeah, that's I heard that from someone else too, and they were saying the same thing. They had family that they can't visit because of all this. It's unfortunate, you know, but obviously you don't want to dwell on the past, but, you know, good things are coming. Vaccinations are out, you know, before you know it, everything will be back to normal.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. Another thing that you mentioned, I've noticed a few times, is about the action, is about the doing. You know, a lot of people fall into the mindset training and the mindset component, and they get so involved because it's a very beautiful topic, because you're learning about yourself, you know, and it's bringing that, like you say, that confidence out. When you're learning so much, I find that they get so in tune with the mindset, they stop even considering the doing part. They just think it's magic after that, right? But like, it's such a great point that the focus that you had in this conversation overall is the doing. Yes, mindset, confidence, but you do go out and do it.
Oh my gosh, 100,000,000%. I love that you brought that up, because I think so many people in the beginning of their mindset journey, of the beginning of their journey to realizing that they have the power to change their life.
Yeah.
You have the power to change your mind. You have the power to change your life. I think so many people are in the consuming mode, and, you know, I think everyone's guilty of it in the beginning, because they're just like, oh my God, let me learn all the things.
I love
right?
it.
I love it. This is like
I love
cocaine. Like, yes, exactly.
Yes. I don't know. That's the same thing that happened to me. Like, I stopped like all kinds of bad habits. Sorry, when I learned it, because you just don't find any pleasure anymore. It just didn't really arouse me. I didn't care much for it. And it is the beauty in that mindset training. When you learn about yourself, it's so powerful. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think it's so beautiful. Like in the beginning, you just become like a sponge. You're soaking it all in. You think it's like, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And it really is. Yeah. But then there becomes this like point, and it's so interesting. Like one of the questions I always get in the last, ever like the whole time that I've been doing this, like, what is your favorite book, or what is your favorite podcast, or what is your favorite thing? And I'll be honest, I probably read like 2 books in the last 2 years. Like there is a point in time where the consuming has to stop, and it has to be more of like what is already inside of you. Because I tell all my clients this, my job as a coach is to give you nothing. My job is to hold you accountable, consistent, motivated, and confident to do the thing. But my whole brand is based on decision, faith, and action. You make a decision. You have the faith that it's going to, like, for me, it's God, but I don't care if it's doorknob, source, universe for you, whatever you so choose. And then you take the action. Decision, faith, and action are the 3 things that will absolutely change your life.
That is so true. I agree 110%. We always like to ask our guest what their inner superpower is that got you to this point, what you feel that is.
I love it. I think 3 things. I think my integrity, number 1, number 2, my vulnerability, and number 3, the fact that I care so much. All 3 of those can kind of be a bit of like, that double-edged sword, maybe not the integrity part.
Composite, maybe it's a composite of all 3.
Exactly. But those 3 things have probably been biggest keys to my success, I think.
That's awesome. One last question I wanted to ask is, what's your morning routine?
Oh, I love that. That's a really good question. I think a lot of people ask that when it comes to like the mindset stuff. I always like to preface it like kind of with that like little asterisk that morning routines don't have to look the same for some. Sometimes morning routines can look like, I have like unbelievably successful clients doing millions of dollars that literally have a morning routine that most people wouldn't think is, mindset savvy, but it works for them. I think a morning routine just has to be whatever gets you in the best frame of mind. And sometimes for people, you can scroll your phone in the morning. It doesn't fuck with you at all, or doesn't screw with you at all.
It's okay. No, it's okay. Go ahead. We didn't go out and look for people that can't handle swearing and then brought them into the podcast. It's like, okay, Super Entrepreneurs Podcast is for you now. Right? So,
yes,
don't worry.
Yes.
Yeah, be open.
But perfect. I think, it doesn't mean that you can't look at your phone first thing in the morning. It doesn't mean that you have to do everything a certain way every day. It doesn't mean that it has to take an hour. I think what it means for me is what gets you in the best mindset possible for the day. And my morning routine is like literally like rock solid. Don't ever have to think about it, just because again, I play the long game with everything and I've been doing it so consistently. But for me, my alarm goes off. I don't hit snooze. It's just, I get up anywhere between 4 and 5 every single morning. Some people are morning people, some people aren't. I haven't always been, but for me, it's like just game on. I have so many clients that I have to take care of myself in the morning before I can take care of everyone else. So my alarm goes off between 4 and 5. I do my gratitude before my feet even hit the floor. So gratitude while I'm, still in bed, laying there, just to change my mindset to like all of the magic that is my life. And just so people know, like 90% of the things are things that you have in your life too, which are like the sunrise, the smell of coffee, like a warm bed, like the sky is blue, the flowers are blooming, like whatever it is. But I just focus so heavily on everything that is right. Because what you focus on is what you find. Yes. I drink 2 cups of coffee, obviously. I do 2 journals every morning. I do one with my husband and I. We go back and forth on, it's called Q&A a day. It's a journal. We ask each other a question a day. We've been doing it for 10 years. I do my morning my own journal. And then I do social media every single morning. So my followers, my Instagram bubble has never gone dark in 4 years. So that means that I've created a post every single day. My very first post of every single morning is a devotional that I read. So I do one devotional a year. And then I kind of just give people some inspo, make them laugh, tell them what's happening in the day. And I go work out. And then I pretty much, most days it's take clients for about 6 hours and go for a walk at the end of the day and do it all again.
Amazing. Amazing. Love it. Love it. Love that routine. And you have such an amazing point that it really is individual. Because you'll hear people, okay, yeah, I like to read a page of a book. It puts me in the right frame of mind. I'm all fired up for the day. Or it could be someone writing gratitude. And by the way, gratitude is such a powerful exercise.
It changes your life.
Oh my God. Like I never knew. Like it just puts that spark in your day. You know what I mean? It just lights it up. And it's definitely something to do with the power that we belong to. Is when you're grateful, it just gives you that push. It just adds so much beauty. If anybody's not doing it, listen to Christina here. Yeah, absolutely.
And do it consistently. Like everything that I do for the long game. You know, people who have been following me for 10 years, people who have only been following me for a year, know that like I am like nothing that I do. And I say this so often is that nothing that I do makes me special except for the fact that I do it consistently, which makes me so special.
Amazing. Love it. Love it, Christina. Again, I'm so happy and grateful that you came on the show. You took the time out. And, you know, and everybody in the audience, if you have any questions for Christina, all her information will be in the show notes. Get in touch with her. She loves to swear. So if you guys like to swear, you just make sure you connect with her. You guys can work together on all aspects of life.
It's a passion. It's
a passion. Yes, it's a passion. 100%. 100%. You have a great personality and everything is good. I wish you all the best. And thank you again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye.